You know, we are constantly surrounded by numbers telling us that things are changing. The price of your coffee went up, your phone battery is draining, and investment has doubled. But how do we actually measure all that change in a way that really makes sense? Well, today we're going to break down the one simple, super powerful tool you need to quantify your world: percentage change.
Think about it. From the charge on your phone draining throughout the day to maybe the value of an investment growing over a year, almost everything can be measured as it moves from one state to another. Yeah, we live in a world that's always in flux, and understanding the scale of that flux is absolutely key.
So, let me ask you this. Which one of these statements gives you a better picture of a company's success? An increase of 1,000 customers. I mean, that sounds great, but it doesn't really have any context, right? A 100% increase, though? Whoa! That tells you a much more powerful story about growth. It tells you a company has literally doubled. And that's the core difference between just seeing a number and understanding its real-world impact.
Okay, let's start with the good news. When things go up, whether it's your salary or the number of likes on your latest post, we need a way to measure that growth. We call this a percentage increase.
Okay, check this out. Here we have a grocery store's customer count. So in March, they had 1,000 customers. Not bad, but by April, that number shot up to 2,000. It's obviously a huge jump, but how can we describe that incredible growth with just one single number? To figure this out, we just need two key pieces of info. First, the original value. That's our starting point, right? The 1,000 customers back in March. And second, the new value. That's where we ended up, 2,000 customers in April. Simple as that.
And the calculation itself, it's a really simple three-step process. First, you find the actual change by subtracting the original value from the new one. Second, you take that change and divide it by the original value you started with. And finally, for the last step, you just multiply by 100 to turn that little decimal into a nice, clean percentage.
So for our grocery store, 2,000 minus 1,000 is a change of 1,000. Easy enough. We divide that by the original 1,000, which gives us 1. Multiply by 100 and there it is, a 100% increase. The store literally doubled its customer base in just 1 month. Now that's the story the number tells.
All right, but of course, values don't always go up, right? So what happens when they go down? This is the story of less, or what we call a percentage decrease.
Let's look at the average retail price of diesel fuel. Between September and October of 2023, the price fell a little bit. It went from about 66.8 pesos in September down to about 66.1 in October. It's a small change, for sure, but with this tool, we can measure it precisely.
Now, does this look familiar? It should. It's the exact same logic. Step 1 is finding the change, but this time we just flip the subtraction to get a positive number. We take the smaller new value from the larger original value. Steps 2 and 3 are totally identical. Divide by the original and multiply by 100.
Let's run the numbers for that diesel price. So 66.8 minus 66.1 gives us a change of 0.7. We divide that by the original price of 66.8 and we get a small number, about 0.01. Multiply by 100 and we find out the price of diesel had a 1% decrease that month.
Okay, so we've looked at increase and we've looked at decrease. We've seen two formulas that look slightly different, but what if I told you they're actually the same fundamental idea?
So here's the crucial point. Percentage change, whether it's going up or down, is simply the difference between two values expressed as a percentage of whatever you started with. That's it. That is the master key to all of this.
I mean, when you look at the two formulas side by side, the only thing that changes is the order you subtract in that first step. And really, that's just to make sure we're working with a positive number. At its heart, it's one single elegant concept: the amount of change divided by the original amount. That's the golden rule.
Okay, so now that you have this powerful tool, you're going to start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's the language that's used to describe meaningful change in business, in finance, and just in everyday life.
Think about it. That 25% off sign on a new TV, that's just the store calculating the percentage decrease from the original price. When a company boasts about its profit growth, that's percentage change. The interest your bank pays on your savings, percentage change. The commission a salesperson earns, that 3% salary raise your boss mentioned, or even how a car loses value over time. Yep, it's all measured with this one simple universal idea. So the next time you read a headline or you see a sales report, you won't just see the numbers. You'll actually understand the story behind them. You now have the skill to quantify the world around you, to see not just that things are changing,
but to understand by exactly how much.
And that, right there, is the power of percentage change. It turns these vague ideas of more or less into concrete, comparable facts that give us real insight. So my question for you is, what change in your world will you measure first?